In our first story, the majority leader and member of parliament for the Swami constituency in the Ashanti region, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, has resigned from his position as leader of the majority caucus in parliament. Now, the news of his resignation came during a meeting between the majority side of parliament and President Akufo-Addo to resolve some disagreements between the NPP MPs and the mother party. Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, according to reports, tendered in his resignation willingly. This comes on the back of reports that the National Executive Council of the party was considering changing the front bench of the majority in parliament to replace the leader with Alexander Afenyomarking, the deputy majority leader. Now, this move was resisted by some MPs, led by Jose Wusu, first deputy speaker, who said they will fight any attempt by the party to force a leader on them. Now, following the resignation of the majority leader, Alexander Afenyomarking will assume the leadership of the NPP in parliament. Meanwhile, the executive director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rasi Draman, says the NPP fracas could have been resolved if leadership of the party and the NPP leadership in parliament engaged ahead of the decision.
Nobody should think that some decision can be made for members of parliament without consulting members of parliament. I think that that's a bone of contention. Nobody denies that all the members that are sitting there, except the second deputy speaker, are all from one stock or another, the NDC or the MPP. But I think we are seeing lately instances where parties can sit down and make decisions just simply without consulting those who have to be led. And I think that era is past gone. So let's be very honest about this. The issue is about consultation and carrying everybody along. And I think the first deputy speaker wouldn't have held that press conference yesterday if there was consultation, if the caucus, had a conversation with the party headquarters.
In other news, the National Peace Council is demanding from the Electoral Commission, EC, a commitment to follow through on its decision to drop all contentious reforms in the run-up to the 2024 elections in a bid to promote peace. Now, some political parties have objected to plans by the EC not to use indelible ink for the election and also to change the election dates from December to November.
At the first National Peace Council Inter-Party Dialogue this year, political parties and the Council reviewed efforts at ensuring peace in the upcoming elections amid concerns about the re-emergence of the threats of political vigilantism. Parties also committed to a code of conduct and guidelines on the use of intemperate language. Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Edu Jemfi, spoke about the EC's planned reforms for the election.
During the week, we've heard that the change of election date is not going to be effective this year. We've also heard that the indelible ink is not going to be used. We are hoping that all of these things will help to clear the doubts in the minds of our people. We have that open dialogue with them. So we constantly follow what things they are doing. We have a rep from the Peace Council who sits in the IPAC meeting, even though he doesn't talk, and he gives us feedback on proceedings at the meetings. So if what they've said is what it is, then we leave it as it stands. But if there are any other issues that we think that we need to provide intervention, we will look at some of those.
Political parties present at the inter-party dialogue held on Wednesday have committed to peace, but they are insisting that mechanisms must be put in place to ensure justice, especially in relation to matters of election-related violence.
If we really want to face it, I will say it here again, as I said before I was away to go, that nobody will sit down this time for peace, peace, peace. And when you get there, the peace is not observed because we will also be on high alert. As far as we are concerned, we are for peace until we are touched.
The New Patriotic Party expressed similar sentiments.
There is no country on the face of the universe that is immune from electoral violence. So this is the problem. And if we don't deal with it from here, I'm sorry, all that we are doing will not yield results. Because because politics thrives on emotions, passion. Online, yes.
The council is currently handling hundreds of disputes regarding communal clashes, chieftaincy, among others.
Chukman Sopoko, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Albon Babing, has prevailed upon the Deputy Majority Leader to withdraw the proposed amendments to parts of the anti-LGBTQ bill, which aims to impose custodial sentences, an attempt by Fenyo Markings to get Parliament to include the contest or consent of the National Democratic Congress's flag bearer John Mahama and the New Patriotic Party's Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia before the bill. Its part was shot down by the Speaker. The withdrawal of the amendment paves way for the bill to be passed.
For the passage of the anti-gay bill is now clear as the 16 proposed amendments that compelled Parliament to retake the bill to another second stage consideration last Thursday have been withdrawn. But the Deputy Majority Leader will not relent on his lone fight to have the bill have a fine tune.
I have proposed in the letter that the two flag bearers for the 2024 elections be engaged by the sponsors.
The Speaker will have none of that.
You are taking advantage of my grace by abusing the practice and procedure of this House. There must always be a rule to go by. Now, you called on the House to do second consideration stage on some clauses of the bill. We now cannot go back to stakeholder engagements and all those things. There is no such rule in our practice. So you are completely out of order. Please, actions speak louder than words.
But a further attempt at the second amendment was withdrawn effective unanimously.
I would want to perhaps make an application for the records and invoke your discretion, if your discretion will permit, that I have been defeated by a voice vote. I yield in complete obedience to your directive.
So do I take it that in yielding to my directive, in complete obedience, you will proceed to withdraw the proposed amendments on the order paper?
Well, yes.
That negated the essence of the House spending more time to consider the remaining similar amendments. The Speaker thereafter led the House to consider further amendment proposed by the sponsors of the bill. The House will continue the second consideration on Thursday. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
We're going to do some more stories, and the minority in Parliament is accusing the chairman of the Health Committee, Dr. Ayu Ifriye, of deliberate attempts of sabotage a parliamentary probe into the COVID-19 expenditure by the government. The Speaker of Parliament, Albon Babing, tags the Finance and Health Committees of the House to expeditiously probe the utilization of COVID-19 funds. Now, here is the minority leader, Dr. Kesela Toforsen, expressing worry about the delay in the commencement of sitting by the committee months after the referral.
This is a matter of major public concern. The chairman of the joint committee, the Honorable Ayu Ifriye, has not called a meeting for the committee to sit on the matter. Mr. Speaker, obviously the ranking member cannot call the meeting. So it's only the chairman who can call the meeting. Mr. Speaker, clearly we are sensing some form of sabotage, in the sense that, Mr. Speaker, there was a subcommittee that the committee formed. The subcommittee, led by Honorable Podo and myself, developed a guideline, submitted it to the joint committee, and the joint committee accepted it. Mr. Speaker, it is for the committee chair to call the meeting, and as we speak, this matter has been delayed almost 8 months. Mr. Speaker, we can't continue like that. We can't. Now,
outgoing Majority Leader Osei Mensah Bonsu has been appointed as the chairman of the New Patriotic Party's Manifesto Committee for Election 2024. Kojo Nkrumah was named as the deputy chairman of the committee, with Everin Hughes as the secretary for the committee. Now, former Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan has been named as the chair of the Youth and Sports Subcommittee of the Manifesto team. This was contained in a statement signed by Dennis Miracles Abuaji, spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia's campaign, which further noted that the committee has been charged with the mandate to efficiently and professionally produce a manifesto document that can stand the test of time to address the legitimate concerns and socio-economic challenges of Ghanaians. Now, other members include Dr. Tony Oting Jesse, Kwabene Japon, Juliet Asante, among others. Let's do some entertainment now. And Ghanaian social media personality Mona Fires Montrage, popularly known as Hajia For Real, has pleaded guilty in a $2 million Roman scam case in the United States. According to the U.S. State Attorney General's website, Hajia For Real pleaded guilty to one count of conspiring to receive stolen money. This charge carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. She also agreed to pay forfeiture for over $2 million and make restitution in the same amount. The social media personality is scheduled to be sentenced by U.S. District Judge Paul Crotty later. Now, the U.S. State's attorney for the Southern District of New York announced the guilty plea, adding that Hajia For Real knowingly received money stolen from older Americans through Roman scams and was arrested abroad and now faces serious consequences for her actions. It says, quote, "This office and our law enforcement partners are relentless in bringing fraudsters who target Americans to justice no matter where they are," the attorney added. And that's how I wrap up the 6 a.m. news right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll go for a short break. Back with the rest of New Day. Good morning.